watching your goofy little smile during the intro was quite hilarious.
Hey everybody. Oh
Welcome
yeah.
to a up. You got the beer open.
Oh, he's
Got the
cracking
bev.
it on.
Can we get a bev check here, folks?
Oh,
Can we get a bev check?
I'm drinking water actually.
What a nerd. Got me some Maker's 46 here.
I got to keep those gains, and muscles are made out of water. Uh, let's talk. Let's not talk about muscles.
This
Let's
is
not talk
mostly
about
water.
beer. Let's talk about
Let's talk about unscripted gaming.
We're talking about unscripted
Talking
gaming.
about unscripted gaming.
Unscripted because none of us have a script in front of us.
And that's why none of us have been introduced yet, because beverages
right.
got in the way.
So, first of all, the one talking to you right now, my name is Ray. This one over here in the hoodie, even though you can't see it on audio, that is Mike.
Hi.
And, over here with the face and the glasses, Josh. That is going to be Josh.
What's good?
And, gentlemen, all right. Gaming-wise or life-wise, be real. How are you guys doing today?
Good. Gaming-wise, my list is not the best, but it's getting better. I've played video games 3 days in a row.
Yeah, you've been playing some games.
I've been playing some games, which
You've been gaming.
I've been gaming, and I went I was looking at my Steam year in review, and you'd be surprised to know that after the first few weeks after my third daughter was born, I had a several month gap of nothing, and now I'm back. I'm back, baby.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise
Back to
me that you had
gaming.
a several month gap of like, well, I have a new child to take care of, so gaming's taking a backseat. Yeah, that doesn't shock me at all.
But I did get a lot of TikTok in during that time.
I bet you did.
I do love me some TikTok.
Mike, how you been?
The gamer Josh yearns for the gaming.
The gaming.
I'm good. Been losing some cubes. We'll talk about cubes during this podcast.
God.
Been
We
losing
will
some
be talking
cubes.
some cubies.
We're talking cubes. Gaming wise, I've been pretty good. I have not played a ton of different games either this year, TBH. But I am. What was I gonna say? I played enough games to make a list here, and
Okay.
I think there's some fun ones. And I'm just gonna get an honorable mention out of the way. Pardon me. That was gross.
The beer.
I know.
This is a professional podcast.
God of War Ragnarok. It's the most. I think if I should have gone back and listened to the podcast where I talked about God of War and been like, it's okay. I don't know. And this is more of the same. If you really liked the first one, you'll probably like this one. If you think you're getting really played out with like the AAA $1 Sony PlayStation 5 video game kind of
motif
game, exactly, like those games have like
they have a very
vibe
specific vibe.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if that is up your alley, then by all means
Go for it.
you should play this. But as someone who had tired out on like Horizon and then also Ghost of Tsushima and also the first God of War, frankly it's on me for thinking I would really like it's pretty to look at. It's just I don't know. Really more than anything, especially compared to some other games on my top 5 here in terms of 3D combat, just 3D melee combat to be specific, just is not super fun to do. Just if you have to hit a button to spin your character around 360, I feel like in a way that looks super unnatural and does not look cool. I feel like something is wrong.
That's been a button since like the Resident Evil days.
Yeah, but like, what if you could play a cool fighting action adventure game that didn't have a 360 quick turn button and didn't feel like it was needed? Okay, not 180 quick turn. Excuse me. Sorry. Don't send me hate mail for not knowing math. Don't dox me.
Don't dox me, bro.
Someone's gonna send me a picture of my house and be like, "It's 180 degrees, dumbass," and then I will just go
Idiot.
away forever.
But yeah, in case you can't tell, we're gonna do our Game of the Year 2022 podcast
That's right.
now. We're gonna go over our lists in no particular order, just kind of going through our top 5 of the year. And Ray, did you do a list last year, or this? Did you just talk about, or did you just talk about games you liked?
I did a list last year.
Okay.
Because last year I didn't ship any games. This year I did ship 2 games, but screw it. I'm gonna go ahead and give a very tiny list.
Yes, but also you don't necessarily work in that directly anymore. So you're
Not as direct. Nope.
That's
so
right. Yeah.
so your conflict of interest is there, but not as there as it once was. Once was. I do also have one honorable mention. It's a game that came out a few years ago, but I literally had the shrink wrap on it until a few months ago, and that is Paper Mario and the Origami King.
Really?
Yeah, so actually, mostly my oldest daughter, who is now 6, has been playing it. And it's definitely a interesting experience watching somebody playing a text-based RPG who is just learning how to read and kind of remembering back to early days when I was playing, your Final Fantasy sevens and things of that vein when I was a youth on my Game Boy or on my PS1. And but she's really gotten into it. I think the combat in that game sucks, but it's a very pretty game, and the story is interesting, and the environments and whatnot are cool. But yeah, the combat is not great.
I've listened to a lot of reviews of that game, and much like what you said, I've heard nothing but very bad games about how tedious it is to actually get through as a game. But I think much like what you're alluding to, I don't think it's a game meant for adults. I think it's explicitly meant for the younger crowd.
Yeah.
Maybe that's all maybe that's fine.
But I will say it's in that younger, like, so my daughter is 6. She in the very basic, some of the combat puzzles, like, she can get it, or if I help her with the puzzle, she can do the actual actions, but the puzzles are such that even sometimes I'm like, what? This is no. So, but I've thinking about, like, random encounters in Pokemon while you're trying to get through, or in Final Fantasy 7, you're just like, God damn it, I just want to get through this area. Even she has had a couple times already where she's like, Dad, I don't want to keep fighting these guys. I just want to go to the next area. And I'm like, sorry about you. Sometimes you
live and learn.
Sometimes the game is just going to throw a bunch of random ads at you, and you're going to have the same combat encounter 10 times in a 10-foot span because fuck you.
That's life.
Yeah. But
You
yeah,
randomly encounter bad, annoying things all the time, forever.
That's my honorable mention before the actual list. Ray, any honorable mentions on your part?
I guess I have an honorable mention because this doesn't deserve to be in the Game of the Year category. I just really enjoyed it as a game for what it did. And it's Gundam Evolution. Because this game made me fall in love all over again with Gun Tank! All he knows is gun and tank, and he's really good at gun and tanking. No, I'm joking, but it's a really fun Overwatch-style hero shooter, using all sorts of different Gundams from all sorts of different series. You got Gundam Unicorn on there. You got the classic RX-78. You got my personal favorite, the RX-79, Jim. Get out of my way. I will go ahead and deck on you with that beam spray. It's got Zaku's of all different types of models. I think they even just introduced, what was that model? It's from Char's Counterattack. New Gundam, NU Gundam. The big, massive one with the giant funnels on it. I love that game. I put dozens of hours into it. As a matter of fact, I should look up on Steam how much hours I put into it. I think I put like well over 60. But my disappointment with it is kinda, it's teetering on that edge of pay to win because some of the Gundam Unicorn, all it does is when you stand near it, it heals the other robots next to you. I think I don't know if you should be charging money for that ability. I think that's kind of messed up. There's a conversation that needs to be had there. And when you get absolutely dunked on by what was it, the Zaku Melee Mark II, it had this attack. It's been nerfed. It's been nerfed to the ground. It got a 36% damage nerf. So you know,
Jeez.
No.
36%.
it. This thing was a monster whenever it activated its like ultimate. But anyways, and it costs money too. The game's dying. Like I just looked it up as of 30 minutes ago. Its all-time peak was 55,000 players playing, like when the game launched. As of 37 minutes ago, it's 868.
Oof.
Uh, mm, mm, the game's only been out since October. I mean, yeah, October. It's not looking great, ladies and gentlemen. That game's probably on its way out. That's a shame. So that's why it's my honorable mention. I had a lot of fun with it in 2022, but I'm also recognizing it's not long for this world.
Ditto.
I had a lot of fun with it, though. Josh, do you remember having fun with it?
I mean, I recall having fun with it. You know, it is a flawed game in many senses, but also in the hitting on the nostalgia, in the basics of that Overwatch style hero shooter. Like, it hits things very well. It just, it did not have enough meat to sink your teeth into. And again, some of those pay to win aspects just really, I think, turn people off of it unless you were really hardcore. And obviously even the hardcores fell off because 800 people is not a lot.
No, there was one match when I discovered. I already knew the game was like on its way out when there were like only 11K people online. But there was one time I was playing. This was back in November. And I was just doing a random match, and 3 matches in a row, it was the same. That there were teams of six per side. It was the same 12 people or 11 people I was encountering, and we were just in all chats saying like, "This isn't good."
The end is nigh.
Yeah, that was like, you don't like to see when that happen.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Okay, but we should get to our actual
Yeah.
list. You guys can go ahead and lead the charge. I only got 2 games for my list for Game of the Year in 2022. So I'm going to start off and just hand it over to, I think the last one to talk was Mike. Mike, go for it. What is game?
Okay.
What's your number 5?
My number 5. Blah, 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 blah. This is roughly equates to honestly playtime.
Okay. If you say Destiny, I swear.
So we'll see.
Buckle up.
Number 5 is a little game called Vampire Survivors. It's hard to describe. It's like a top-down Castlevania looking thing, but it's like a roguelike where you're like, oh, I get upgrades and my character attacks automatically, and I walk around this map for a bit until I try to go as far as I can, and then you get more upgrades and there's more levels and stuff. It gets really fun when because you're like, oh, my character shoots 3 darts, that's cool. And then all of a sudden, the screen is exploding with bad guys, and you can you can literally just stand still, and you're killing so many things so fast that no one can even touch you. It's really kind of fun and very addicting, and your eyes will glaze over playing it. But it's a fun little game, and I really enjoyed it. So haven't played too much of it, but that is why it's my number 5. So
Nice.
Vampire Survivors. I think it's on mobile too for free, so it's kind of fun. So
It is?
yeah.
Oh, I shouldn't have this information. Oh my gosh, I'm going to download this now.
Uh-oh, rip.
Go ahead. Please continue, everybody.
All right.
Josh, what is your number 5?
My number 5 is a relatively late entrant in the year, but it is the game High on Life. I think the folks who are behind Rick and Morty had some influence on that game or whatnot. Yeah, which as of recording, found out that one of them had some um, some problematic charges brought against them for domestic violence. So
Yeah.
that's cool.
Great timing.
The nice
Love
thing is
that.
I don't think I'm going back to the game, so don't have to continue to support them. But it was one of those in this last few weeks where I've been getting to game a little more. I was looking for something new and saw a lot of this game on the TikTok, and I was like, I've never really watched Rick and Morty, but the things that I've seen on TikTok, the humor spoke to me in a way that I was like, I'm gonna check it out. So it is an interesting game of, hey, some aliens have invaded the Earth because they look at human life as a drug or whatever, and some silliness ensues. The combat in the game is okay. The main gun that you have is a talking sentient alien gun, and eventually you also get a talking sentient alien knife. I'm not super far in the game. The combat's, again, not super dynamic. The shooting is okay, but you're really more there for the humor and the story and whatnot. The reason I'm not going back to the game is I was playing it about a week or two ago. I had about an hour and a half, 2 hours of progress ish, and something went wrong. The game crashed. I went to reload it, and it took me back to the place where I started that play session.
Oh, were you playing on like cloud save or
Oh.
something like that?
No, I don't think so. And I could have swore there was not a save. In the days I'd played previously, I had not done any saves. I'd hit some major milestones and things that I thought would be a checkpoint. So I don't know what happened. And given my busy life, I really don't have time to go back and replay things. I think I mentioned on this, I stopped playing Jedi Fallen Order because I accidentally deleted my save file, and I was like, well, done with that game.
That's awful. Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't know what the glitch was. I relaunched the game 2 times after that. It was gone. So yeah, that's why it's number 5 on my list, because didn't play too much of it, and I'm not going to play it again. But what I did play was enjoyable. I had some yuckles.
Yeah, it's never too late to not watch Rick and Morty, as I say.
Well, I'm not going to start now. So
Yeah, first 2 seasons were fun. It
Rick
kind
and
of
Morty haters stay winning.
yeah, it's true. It's true. Never have the Rick and Morty haters been so redeemed as of late. For
This
all of
post
the
was
worst
made by the
reasons.
Venture Bros Appreciation Gang.
There's a subtlety in Venture Bros that Rick and Morty kind of wishes it sort of had. But
It is. It's like legitimately. I would kill someone to be as funny as the people who write Venture Brothers, like
Doc Hammer and what's the other guy's name?
Jackson Pollock.
Jackson. Okay.
God, what a perfect show. Sorry.
Eat the pennies.
Uh,
Just eat the pennies.
It'll only cost you $1, Quiz Boy.
In
Eat the pennies. What a. It's so funny. Like,
You would die a miserable death.
the notion of like telling someone it's only going to cost you $1, and that meaning you have to eat 100 pennies. It just kills me every time I think about it. Like eating 100 pennies would. Sorry.
yeah.
Also, that was all a joke for a movie script I'm working on.
yes, number 4.
Number 4. My number 4 is a follow-up to a game I really liked a couple years ago, and I really like this new one. It is called Hyper Demon. It is a sequel to Devil Daggers. Wins my award for best title screen of the year. So it's very similar to Devil Daggers, where you have like your little gun power thing, and you just try to survive as long as you can. And this one, there's a bit of a time component where you need to be killing things fast enough to like get a higher score. There's a lot more like movement abilities and stuff that I have not quite mastered yet, but have seen some crazy. Some people do some crazy things, but aesthetically, this game is gnarly looking. Like you can get a power up in this game where it basically switches you into like a 360-degree view, so you see you see everything around you in front of you, and it is so cool. It is the sickest looking thing, and it's just a really trippy, like, it's a sequel to Devil Daggers that is really a treat to look at and play. And so
Awesome.
so that is Hyper Demon, which I might have to play some after this because it is so cool. So Hyper Demon is my
Nice.
number 4 of the year.
Excellent. We're moving back to Josh. What is your number? 4?
My number 4 is the final entry in season 1 of the Dark Pictures anthology. It is titled "The Devil in Me." It just released a month or so ago, and not super far into it because got it, started it, and then Andor took over my wife and I's media consumption time there for a little while, so I haven't gotten back to it. But the story so far, very early in, is a group of documentary filmmakers is going to a replica, maybe not replica, H.H. Holmes murder hotel. So it is one of those games. You've got the curator doing curator things and being his same wacky self, a band of misfits and folks who you're going to make life and death decisions on. The similar mechanics of those supermassive games, and we'll have some things to say about that later and higher up on this list. But one of those games seems like an interesting story so far, and looking forward to playing more of it. So, number 4.
All right, excellent. Then we bounce it back to Mike, and hey, Mike, what's your number 3?
Ray, I need you to promise me you won't be mad at me.
If it's fucking Destiny, isn't it? You're going to say a game that released 2017 is your
No,
number 3.
I need you to promise me that you won't be mad at me, or else I will stop recording and then we'll have to restart.
If you put Elden Ring above Destiny, we will have words.
I need you to promise me that you won't be mad at me.
Oh no, no! I promise.
Number 3 is Elden Ring.
Oh, it still stings.
I really like Elden Ring. I really love Souls games. I feel like in a way I've kind of like have aged, not like aged out of them, but I just haven't I just don't have the time to dig into them the way I used to be able to.
Mm-hmm.
And I played a lot of Elden Ring when it first came out, and I want to get back to it, and I promise I will at some point. I really need to. But what I have played of it is really cool. Like, it's crazy that they just took like the Souls formula and turned it into this whole like wide open world and filled it with like the storytelling that only like From Software can do, and just like the scope and scale and the mystery and the beauty and the horror of all of it, like all of it mixed together in this one really cool, nothing else like it atmosphere. I really love that I basically was able, because the build crafting in the game is so wild. Like, I've seen people do some crazy things, but I really just wanted to play the game as like the classic Dark Souls 1 sword lady. Yeah. So I have my pyromancy on my one hand and my claymore in the other, and it totally works, and it's really fun.
You got to find the claymore this time.
Yeah, so I promise I'm going to play more of it, because I spent too much time in the character creator to not really see that game through to the end. But yeah, Elden Ring. Check it out. Right.
That's a solid number 3. Josh, how about your number 3?
My number 3 is a little game called Tunic.
Cute little Souls-like.
Yeah.
I forgot about that game.
Yeah, it is a very approachable Souls-like. Didn't realize it was Souls-like until I was playing it one day, and Ray was like, "Josh, explain this game to me." I'm like, "Oh, well, you're this little fox guy, and you're wandering around, and you gotta do some dodge rolling, and you're fighting these enemies, and you come up on these little bonfires, and you have these little like health jars, and sometimes when you go around, like the enemies reset." And he's like, "Josh, you're playing a Souls-like." I'm like, "Oh,
No,
well."
no. You bitched at me for the first 10 minutes. You're like, no, this isn't a Souls-like, this is a Zelda. And I'm like, dodge that enemy's attack. Do you have iframes? And it has a little tutorial like, this is how many iframes you have. Like,
Uh-oh.
Yep.
Now, no, here's the real question, though. Josh, have you talked to an NPC in Tunic?
No.
There's no NPCs in Tunic?
I'm not saying that there's not. I probably got 5. I got in. I definitely made some errors. So the thing in Tunic too is as you're going through, you are collecting pages of a video game manual, like in the style of something from the 80s and 90s when like you had very detailed manuals about how to play the game, and drawings of animations and things like that. So some of it is you pick up pages, and some of it is translated, some of it is not, but they give you access and information on how to do new abilities and to learn about different weapons and items that you're picking up through the world. So and I have encountered a couple friendly spirits and things in the world, but nothing that I've like talked to, if that makes sense. But yeah, it is a gorgeous game. Kind of has an interesting isometric angle to it in a very modern style. It is playing on that slightly older angle, but with a modern take to it. It is very gorgeous, very bright, vibrant colors, interesting enemies. I very much enjoyed the game. Again, one of those I started playing, fell off of mostly because I was playing it early in the baby is a potato and does literally nothing, and then as the baby gets a little older, you have to kind of back off. But one of those that I might get back into at some point. And the nice thing is it's a Game Pass game, so didn't necessarily pay for it, and I can just jump back in as I feel. But also, if I don't get back to it, that's all right. I had fun with it, and it is what it is. So that's my number 3, and yeah.
All right, so before Mike gets to his number 2, I want to say my number 2 because I only have 2.
Yeah, fair.
My number 2 is Marvel Snap. This might be one of the
What
best.
a quinky-dink.
Oh yeah. We'll talk more about it. Like we don't talk enough about it. I think I've made it clear, like when me and Mike do Creed Got Robbed, our movie version of this podcast, we talk about, which you should listen to. A lot of people listen to those. It always shocks me.
Nice.
Again, a lot of people.
I won't say it's Creed Got Robbed, but we've got something in the works that I think y'all are gonna like.
Oh.
We're working on a Google Doc of sorts.
March Madness is approaching us.
Something is coming.
That's it. Oh, goodness.
I'm gonna mind freak you.
Yeah.
That would.
Hey, maybe he should.
Yeah, I was gonna say Mike. Anyway, Ray, Marvel snapped.
I'm kind of done with like cape shit movies. I have to be like convinced to go see a Marvel movie because some of them are like, hey, do you want to sit in a theater and watch a movie for 2.5 hours when you know exactly how it'll end? No, I actually don't want to do that. That sounds painful.
Counterpoint. I will do that for the new Avatar movie, though. I'm so excited.
I haven't seen that yet. And then sidebar, me and Anna were absolutely going to go see it in IMAX because we believe that was the best way to see it. But then they said IMAX 3D only, and I said, ah, there it is.
Movie magic, folks.
Oh goodness. But anyways, but I do like Marvel Comics still. Not as me and Marvel Comics. There are some DC comics I like. There are some Marvel comics I like more, and Marvel Snap captures the essence of a very good card battler, and it has a lot of different Marvel comic characters. Some I didn't even know existed. I didn't know what a Devil Dinosaur was. Now I love him.
I love that guy.
I love the Devil Dinosaur. What a great hero. I didn't know who the leader was. I still don't. I don't care to know. I forgot Sunspot was a hero, but Sunspot's one of my favorite cards now. It's a game that it pays a lot of homage to what Marvel gives, what the Marvel properties are, and all the cards do fun little things that you can mix and match. And it's a card battler game, so it's not a deck builder game. So you can, how big are the decks? They're 10 cards, and you
12.
12 cards? 12 cards.
Mhm.
And your first draw is 4 in the hand. Then it kind of goes from there. And although the dynamic that makes it really fun and engaging is that the locations, there are 3 different locations that change, and you have to go ahead and get more points to win each location. And the person that wins 2 of 3 locations obviously wins the game. That that sort of thing is really fun. There are certain cards that I will say probably shouldn't be in the game. Um, I use Wong. I am an anti-Wong fan, but I use him because if my enemy
Yeah.
has a gun, I should have a gun. That sort of thing.
You're
It's
not
about to
bringing
get-
it. You're not bringing a knife to a gunfight. You're
It's
bringing
about,
Wong to a
it's about to
Wong
get
fight.
Wongers up in here.
I'm not sure about Galactus as a card. I think when someone has Galactus and Null as a card combo, for those of you
Horseshit.
that play it, yeah, I think
Whale.
that's just like,
Whale.
what am I
Whale
supposed to do?
tendency. Whale tendency.
Everybody
detected.
Wong
Just a
come
giant
tonight.
humpback waving at you from across the ocean, letting you
Whale
know.
detected.
But it's a fun game. I've actually gotten Anna had to talk with me about it. This is one of the very first games where I time traveled. I started playing it at midnight. You know when you get on your phone and you're about to go to bed and you just play on your phone, and it was 6 a.m. I was like, I have fucked up.
Oh my god.
God damn.
The last. Yeah. I
That
can
happened to
definitely
me
see how that
twice.
would happen, though.
We've all been
That-
there.
Okay, what the game does, real quick, is it does a thing with the lighting system in the game and with the actual visual effects. Every time you win, what happens? It flashes bright blue light into your eyes that awakens all your positive neural centers, and you're like, oh, I'm awake now. But the moment I put the game down for like 5 minutes, and every sort of part of my brain that says, we should go to sleep, all of that activates at once. I'm like, that game is doing some psychological warfare up in here. That's
Yeah, it
unfair.
is. It's very much like. I've also been playing a ton of Marvel Snap. Ray really covered it really well here, so I won't belabor it. But
Is that your number 2?
yes, it is. And I think for as much as we loved Inscription last year, at least I did, I went back and played some of like Casey's mod, like endless mode, kind of not endless mode, but like roguelite mode that they added. And it's like, I'm like, this is great. It's really fun to spend more time in that aesthetic where it's like spooky but I'm like, I kind of just want a more purified version of this.
Yeah.
And that's
Going
exactly
across the
what's,
board.
and Snap is like really scratching that itch for me. Like it's like Ray said, it's really fun to like see all the characters. So it's like, oh yeah, that's like, because it's kind of fun to go in thinking like, oh, you're gonna like, oh, I'm gonna get like Captain America and Thor and Iron Man. I'll do like the Avengers deck, and then your actual deck is like, all right, Hell Cow, get in there, and you're like, what's Hell
Yes.
Cow?
I didn't
Like, it's
know what a hell cow was,
there-
and now
the-
I do.
Like the deep cuts on all the art are really fun. Like all the different deck types that you can build are really fun, and
Yeah.
like it's really exciting to like when you finally get that card you've heard about or like seen other people play, and you're like thinking of like all the fun decks you can do with it, and like it's lots of fun ways to experiment, and um yeah, it's just really fun. Definitely like free phone game like engagement tactics and pricing for things. I will,
About the pricing.
yeah, I've some of those bundles are just like hilarious because it's
Would you like to pay
like
$50
there's
for?
one in my shop right now. It's like, hey, do you want to spend $100 on a phone game? And I'm like, no, thank
No, I.
you. But like they've got like the whale tendency bundles. God, anytime you beat somebody with that like the anime avatar, which is a great avatar, so beautiful, love it. But God, every time I emote on I Thanos emote on any time I beat somebody with an anime avatar. I do it. Bad manners.
Rude. You.
This is Josh. I've gone full clashing king, like Clash Royale
Clash
laughing king
Royale.
emote. Yeah,
I
it's
used
bad.
to I used to spam the Thanos snap avatar emote just to be like a jerk, but I've calmed that down a lot. I
Yeah,
think I've gotten that out of my system.
I
But
like to fist bump when I can tell somebody's running the same deck as me. I'm like, hey, you're doing hella discard. Hi, me too.
yeah, like I know what's about to happen.
Because we like it's funny because like we both skip turns 1 and 2, and
Mhm.
then it's hella Hellcow, and then they're hella discards and they fist bump and leave, and it's like, yeah,
Yeah,
I'll see you
yeah.
later.
Hey,
Um,
I'm gonna pay you 1 cube to go away.
I'm gonna pay you
Oh,
1 cube to fuck
this
off.
actually works out a little bit better. I'm gonna
Um,
pay you 1 cube to get out of here.
wow, there it is.
God.
So yeah, it's just like Ray said, all the like just the visuals are fun, like all the it's I've just really enjoyed it. Like it's fun to like see because we have like a group chat with a couple of us who play Snap, like share fun wins or like fun cards we get. It's like fun to see other people's boards and like, ooh, that was a crazy little combo you pulled off. Nice job. Or like, wow, that was some crazy shit that person pulled.
We don't post enough L's. We need to post more L's.
I need to
than
post some more spectacular. I've been taking some L's, but oh, I'm trying to think of somebody truly bamboozled me the other day, and it was really impressive. I don't know what it was. Usually I kind of bamboozle myself a lot of times these days, where like if I had just done like I'm gonna play my America Chavez in the place where I need to win, I would
that.
have won. But I'm like, oh, I have to do like full on like Charlie at the chalkboard like conspiracy planning. But it's just like, no, play the strong card in the spot where you need it, and I would have won. But
Put the Captain Marvel where she needs to be, or she'll just go there herself. It doesn't
yeah,
matter.
it feels so good when Captain Marvel wins you a game. It's just like movie magic is what it feels like. It's yeah. Marvel
Captain
Snap.
Marvel is a lot of There's only one good thing about the Captain Marvel movie that I like truly love, and it's spoiler alert for Captain Marvel. It's how Nick Fury like lost his eyesight in one of his eyes.
Yeah,
Scratched it out. That's funny.
Goose. Good card. Only 2 power. Really good way to lock down a lane for cheap.
It's true.
It's nice.
You put a
Goose.
cat in that board, that side's done for heavy cards. Josh, what's your number 2?
All right, my number 2, Ray.
Wow.
You got to promise not to be mad.
Is it Destiny?
Ray.
It's fucking Destiny.
Ray, you have to promise not to be mad.
The game came out in 2017.
I'm not
you guys
mad.
know that, right?
I'm not mad.
But
I'm
Destiny
not
2,
mad.
Destiny
I'm
2: The Witch
disappointed.
Queen came out in 2022.
The Witch King did come out in 20. That's an expansion.
It was a large expansion that had quite a considerable amount of story, and is a more fully featured gaming experience than some other full fat quote unquote games. So, it makes my list. There are other releases. There are like 1 or 2 others that could have been in my honorable mentions that could have taken its spot, and they didn't. And also, as we were recording, it moved up 2 spots on my list. So yeah,
Interesting.
yeah. I mean, partially it has been a year-long process for me to complete that campaign, just given everything that's gone on. But um,
Mhm.
I just, for me personally, as somebody who has made fun of Destiny a lot, it has still found a way to pull me in and to keep me intrigued in the lore, not feel like things have gotten too stale. Lots of new activities, events, weapons, armor, and whatnot. And again, for me personally, I think the payoff on a storyline that has been playing out for a long time, even probably longer than I'm aware, just not being a Destiny 1 player, and having gone through so many iterations in the is this entity that we are fighting, but also sometimes not fighting, that is doing all these tricksy hobbits' things, you know,
Mhm.
are they a bad baddie? Are they a good baddie? Are they a bad goodie? Are they sympathetic? Did they know more than they're letting on? Did they know more than we know? It just it paid off on that in such spectacular ways, and then still left more questions of like, yay, we finally did the thing we've been trying to do for a long time, but actually maybe we probably definitely shouldn't have done that,
Mhm.
because now some really spooky shit's going to happen, and it might be the downfall of everything. So, I again shit on Destiny a lot, but it has somehow found a way to hold on, but also continue to make very compelling storylines and correct the things that they had gotten wrong early on in Destiny, and done basically fixed all the stuff that I complained about early on in Destiny 2 and the Destiny expansions, of being like, these are actually meaty stories that compete for attention compared
Yeah.
to other like full-fledged releases that happen. So I know it's a game that released in 2017, but damn it,
I would like for someone to find a first person shooter campaign that is stronger than Destiny 2 The Witch Queen that came out in 2022. I'd like.
Specifically, first-person shooter campaign.
Yes. Cuz
Call of Duty Modern
it's
Warfare is
quite
pretty
good.
good.
Quite good.
Like
I would honestly put it up there.
Call of Duty Modern Warfare, you get nuked. It's pretty heavy, and you watch your avatar irradiate to death.
That's not even the first time you've been nuked in a Call of Duty game. They've done that before.
It's not.
No, that happened in 4.
That's the one I'm talking
He's
about.
talking about the original Modern Warfare, not
Yeah,
Modern
Call of
Warfare
Duty.
reboots
Oh yeah. Oh, I was comparing Witch Queen to like games that came out this year.
in
Oh,
2022.
okay. Oh yeah, I haven't played a lot of first-person shooter. You know what? This is an aside before I save my number one. Then you guys go to your number one. Uh, I went back and played Doom 2 actually this
Oh.
year. It's obviously not going to be on the Game of the Year's list, but Doom 2 still good. In case you thought that Doom wasn't holding it down, it's still holding it down. The Super Shotgun still a good weapon. Uh, my number one game of the year. It's for some reason Mike's number three because he's a heathen. It's Elden Ring. The game I passively got a PS5 for, and it's not the only game I played on my PS5. I ended up playing Demon Souls, and that is a video game. Um, folks, don't play one of the best Souls-like games ever made, and then go back to one of the first ones ever created.
Oh.
You're gonna have a weird time. That's my review of Demon Souls.
Yeah.
One day I'll go back to it. It's fine. It's fun. It looks gorgeous. But Elden Ring, that is a game that one of the best pieces of game design in Elden Ring is when you finally leave the big church temple, the little tutorial temple, and the giant world expands around you, and in the background you see the Erd tree, a big golden tree that takes up your entire view. And just off to your left, you see walking is a giant knight on a horse with a halberd. And you're like, whatever, I just beat the first boss. You thought it was a boss, it was just a regular guardsman. I just beat that first boss. I think I could take that knight. Then it rides up, and it boss health bar fills the screen, and it says Knights of the Erd Tree, and it just bam, you're dead, instant dead, and that is wonderful because that is Elden Ring teaching you
It's okay to go somewhere else.
it's okay to go around that. You have the ability to just you have stealth, you have the ability to walk away. It's a big map. Go around. If you see something big and threatening, go around. And that is beautiful, beautiful diegetic video game design. Wonderful, wonderful. And the game itself, I put 70 hours over the course of like 2 weeks into that game, and I loved every single bit of it. If you're going to play Elden Ring, use a guide. I, some people say going blind. No, those people are trying to lead you down the path that doesn't rock. The path that rocks is you go to fextralife.com, you go to Elden Ring Guide, you find out what dungeon order you go to, and you find out
Yeah,
because it's a big
definitely
map.
if you are like newer to the Souls experience, like it's the kind of thing where it's like, yeah, a guide I think is key to really like kind of smoothing over some of the rough patches that you might encounter. If you don't have the time to just like freewheel it and just kind of go wherever. Um,
And it's also the easiest Souls-like game in the entire series. Like,
you
it,
can summon like 5 spirits in a boss fight. Just like roll up with the homies on a boss, which
oh,
is
that is
awesome.
that is so great when you're like fighting a hard boss and you got the summoning bell, ding, and then a bunch of ghosts roll in right
Me
behind
and
you,
the
and you're like,
boys.
"We ain't alone."
Uh,
Sometimes it doesn't even have to be a whole gang. You could just have the jellyfish, and the jellyfish says, "I'm gonna just be over here tanking damage and spitting poison." You're like, "That's right," and you attack him in the back. Or you could be like me and be a cheating jerk, and you get the mimic summon, and it's just a carbon copy of you with whatever gear that you have with a very smart AI. So maybe you have a broken weapon. What if you have two of them? Maybe the final boss becomes a joke, right? If you do that, I have no regrets. None at all. I love this game. I love all the tools that it gives you. I love the fact that multiplayer, for the first time in a Souls game, is actually just easy. And you don't get an item where you have to decipher it with like an enigma code to figure out that the item
yeah,
summons
you don't have to
multiplayer.
use like the Nazi era Enigma machine to like co-op with somebody. Like,
You're like, here's a soapstone. What the hell is a soapstone?
Lord.
No, it just says this is a curled finger. It activates multiplayer mode. It just says that in the box. Activates multiplayer. Like, thank you. Someone grabbed Hidetaka Miyazaki by his shoulders, looks him in the face, and said, "Stop it. You need to stop."
It's like the mom from Babadook just being like, "Why can't you be normal?"
He just screams. But yeah, I love the accessibility of the game. I know Dark Souls and Souls-like games get a lot of let's call it what it is, a lot of shit because they're like it's too hard, it's not accessible. If you're having trouble, activate multiplayer mode and summon the biggest, swingingest, strongest person on the server, and they'll come and help you. I've done it. I've just walked in, I've activated, I'm available for multiplayer. I've already beaten this game. Who needs help? And it's like I can't beat this person. Not a problem. We'll go in, slam, continue the story. That's great. That's fun. Take that, use it. It doesn't make the game any less of an experience for you. Uh, I could gush for hours about how this took everything great about Dark Souls 3, which Elden Ring made me go back and go play Dark Souls 3 because I like dropped it off the map for a little bit because Dark Souls 2 pissed me off. But maybe go back and play Dark Souls 3 and just have this love for Dark Souls 3 now. Now I get it. Now I see why so many people love it. And beating Elden Ring made me want to. If they never made another Dark Souls game after Elden Ring, I'm good. Like that was the top of the mountain right there. I don't know how they do better than that. Anyways, that's my long soliloquy about my number one. Next would be Mike. What is your number one?
But you have to promise not to be mad at me.
If it's fucking Destiny, isn't it? You're gonna.
Destiny 2, the Witch Queen.
Wow.
Again, Josh spoke to a lot of like the story
Yas,
stuff
queen.
that I think they have just been firing on all cylinders on lately. A lot of the seasonal storytelling has been kind of like mini sequels to, like, one season this year was a mini sequel to Shadowkeep that was bringing back Callus from base Destiny as like part of like the larger story with this character called the Witness, and folding him into that. And then this current ongoing season is like a mini sequel to Destiny's Beyond Light expansion, which is about like Rasputin the Warmind and like Clovis Bray the evil AI, and like really kind of
Mike, Clovis is not
bringing
evil.
all yes he is. Does some bad stuff. I'm canceling him.
Clovis
you
is
know.
canceled.
Eugenics bad. That's the official unscripted gaming position.
You didn't have that position while playing Fire Emblem Awakening.
Okay, all right. Okay, let's check ourselves. Okay.
I'm just saying, I'm sure
Look,
you busted out the list.
I just need my offspring to have a high crit chance, okay?
You're like, who is the best waifu I should bed to get the best child? I did it too. Anyways, please.
This is a real like a thing where rock and a hard place situation, because you either have to be like, yep, that's what I did, or admit to making suboptimal pairings because you wanted to marry the one girl that because she's cool.
I'm not gonna.
Anyways,
Marry the daughter.
Destiny, I think, has just been, I mean, no duh. It's Mike's game of the year yet again because it's my favorite game. Again, like Josh already hit on a lot of great stuff. All the seasonal stories stuff has been really interesting. Some of the dungeons that they've released have been really fun this year. I will say the raid that came with Witch Queen is just an absolute treat. Like, aesthetically, I think that final boss fight, the first time you do it, is probably my favorite gaming moment of the year, because it's super cool, and just like, it's just the perfect storm of like the music, the art design, like the character design, like the gameplay, like it just all comes together and creates this like really cool big moment. And it's just like Destiny at its absolute best. And it's like, this is why I play this game, is for moments like this. And oh god, just like the Josh, take off your headset for a little bit. Just, I'm going to spoil something here. So, Ray, if you don't mind, how do you feel about instrumentation spoilers?
Oh,
like music?
I literally haven't played Destiny in like a year, so please go ahead.
So, the theme for Beyond Light, like the darkness theme, is like very like, it's like very synthy, like kind of ethereal, like, so it's like, ooh, this is like a new theme. It's a kind of the dark era for Destiny starting here.
Yeah.
And like that's a theme that kind of pops up in all sorts of like different places in the game. That same like theme is used at during the final boss of the First Disciple raid. And except instead of like synthy and ethereal, it's like booming brass and like a full symphony. And it's like, oh, it's not like a foretelling of the capital T, capital D, the darkness is coming like it was before. It is here and present. And the way that they like communicate that through the change of the orchestration of the song, of like that theme that you already know, it's so good. Oh my god, it kicks so much ass. So
awesome.
like, I'll send you the two tracks to compare, just so you understand. But yeah, it's moments like that, along with just like the rock solid gameplay, are why it's still my number one game.
Trying to get Josh's attention.
Josh, you are good. Thumbs up.
I'm back.
Excellent. Well, Josh, you're number one.
All right.
Lead us off. Close us out.
My number one actually comes from the same studio that got one of my other games on this list. So it is The Quarry, also a supermassive joint. So it is similar to the Dark Pictures anthology, but it is more like their first outing, Until Dawn. So
Ooh,
yes,
interesting.
so
Okay.
Until Dawn was a much more full and long experience than the Dark Pictures. So the Dark Pictures anthologies, I think they normally retail for like $40 out, brand new. They are 3 to 5 hours ish in terms of length, so they're not as long, they're not as full, and they're the curator is the same across all those stories, getting the in between chapters, touch points and whatnot, which is great. I do like that episodic, hey, we've just got these little vignettes and smaller spooky stories that we're going to tell over, a few years. But the Until Dawn and now The Quarry are much more full, 8-ish plus hours, a lot more time spent, different folks who are touching base with you, so they are specific to the story, having some involvement in some way. This particular story follows a group of teens who are counselors at a summer camp, and
I love this.
Yes, some shenanigans ensue, and the teens get abandoned by themselves at the end of the summer camp. After all, the kids have left, and there are some potential werewolves running around.
Possibly werewolves.
Yeah, just maybe a little bit. But the reason that this one is on my top, and the other Dark Pictures game is lower on my list, is I like the Dark Pictures anthology, and I like those games, especially as a sort of visual novelish, like, hey, we got a couple quick time events, but mostly you're just looking for clues and trying to keep these characters alive. Obviously, The Quarry does that, but I feel like, given that this was a longer game and a kind of its own release, they did a little bit more with the quote-unquote combat and some of the different events that you do to avoid getting killed in a certain time, or the things that alter the decision tree and impact the story moving forward. I think that they just took, with this game, they took a little more time to take some risk, get a little creative, and not just stick with the same, hey, we're going to do a cute quick time event, and you're going to have to hit this button on the heartbeat to like be quiet during the time. Plus the story in general just was it was a very interesting story, and at the same time that you are trying not to get these teens killed, and them all just making shitty decisions that teens do, that you're just like, man, I want to keep you alive, but also you suck and I want you to die. There was enough like mystery and intrigue where even 2/3 of the way through the story, my wife and I, who've played a lot of these games now, we're not 100% sure which characters were actually characters that like the decisions and the keeping alive mattered for. And
you guys are like have played a few of these too.
And there were a couple characters where you got the sense that you're like, maybe this, you're like, there's only supposed to be like 6 characters that you keep alive, but there are 8 or 9 that you're dealing with early on. You're like, ooh, who's the mole here? Who's not gonna matter? Who's gonna have something that their outcome is inevitable, but you don't know that yet. And they did some really interesting things with the storytelling and getting to that point. And again, just refreshing the gameplay in a way that didn't make it so rote. And that's the Dark Pictures games, you know, for me in the last, I think there were 5 or 6 in this season 1, it really comes down to the story because the gameplay honestly isn't great. It's not terrible, but you know what you're getting, and you know, the engine is what it is, but I just felt like whatever they did with the quarry, they tightened everything. Like the movement felt better, the interactions that you had when it came to those quick time events and those things that you had to do to keep your characters alive, just, you know, I quite enjoyed it. And yeah, that is why it is my number 1, The Quarry. I would highly recommend it.
Well, gentlemen, those were some solid lists.
Oh, one other thing.
All right, go ahead.
We played it on PS4 because that's all we have. But you could tell, like, just from the game, the way that it looked, you could tell like that this game looked just looked incredible on a PS5, and that it was. They'd spent more time with it. You know, in some of the Dark Pictures, like, man, they just kind of, you know, they're getting this out there because they've got to hit, you know, every, whatever, 3 months, 6 months, whatever the release schedule on that. But like, man, this game looks really good, and I bet if we played it on a different platform, it'd look even better. And you don't really get that with the Dark Pictures anthology. It's just like, I mean, this game looks, it looks like some motion facial capture, and it probably would look almost the same on a PS5 as it does on a PS4.
Yeah. All right, noted. I maybe one day I will touch those games, Dark Picture anthology games. Gentlemen, that was a good set of games listed. If you are interested in those games, go play them. Support your local developers. I just downloaded Vampire Survivor, and before I go ahead and do my nightly routine, I'm gonna go ahead and give that game a shot before I read some Berserk, because that is my bedtime reading story, to read Ken Timur's Berserk.
A charming
yes.
bedtime tale for.
Indeed.
Yeah. Berserk.
Josh, you want to tell people where they can find more unscripted gaming content?
Oh, would I ever love to tell these little freaks where they can keep up to date on all the unscripted gaming happenings? Unscriptedgaming.com. God damn it.
We're working on something, folks.
I got jazz. Yeah, we got some stuff coming down the pipe.
We got some stuff.
But unscriptedgaming.com will get you to all of our various tangled webs we weave across the internet, our various podcasts, our audio and video forms, and our social media. You can get us on Facebook at Unscripted Game Podcast. You can get us on Twitter at unscript_gaming. We are on YouTube, where you can get videos of all of our podcasts, not just the Unscripted Gaming, but our Postscripted, our Creed Got Robbed, and some of the other stuff that we do there. You can get us on soundcloud.com/unscripted-gaming and all the podcatcher apps. You can get the audio versions of our podcast. Thank you for listening to Unscripted Gaming. My name is Josh.
My name is Ray.
My name is Mike.
Peace.